Formula One drivers race sitting down. They're driving, after all. So why do they have to work out like this? Driving an F1 car requires incredible cardio ability, stamina, and a shocking amount of strength.
Every driver would qualify for the National Hockey League. They would all qualify for the Apollo space program, which is pretty amazing.
A lot of people assume that winning an F1 race is just about having the fastest car. But the physics of driving an F1 car put massive demands on the human body. Every lap, the car is trying to pull their head sideways, slam them forward, and cook them inside a cockpit that can be over 130 degrees Fahrenheit.
If you or I did it, it would be life-threatening, as in we would probably pass out, faint and have a crash.
And if the driver can't withstand those forces for an entire race, they just can't win. So I wanted to see what F1 drivers do to train their bodies to withstand those kinds of physics. Since F1 is such an international sport, there aren't many specialized trainers in the US. So with the help of Pete McKnight, an F1 performance expert currently based in the United Arab Emirates, I'll be working out with David Dunlop. David works with NFL players and told me that the training regimen for F1 drivers isn't actually that different than what football players do.
With Formula One training, we're still looking to get them generally physically prepped the same way we would with most other athletes. I can train an F1 driver, I can train an NFL player, and 80% of the things can be the same.
Formula One drivers are strong guys because they have to work their full body to be, generally athletic.
But what really sets F1 drivers apart from other athletes is their neck strength. An F1 car is under pressure that you've never experienced while just driving around the block. They're driving around really tight corners at really high speeds. Let's take turn 1 at Suzuka, the F1 course in Japan. When an F1 car rounds that turn, it generates centrifugal force, pushing sideways and outwards. On this turn, drivers are experiencing 5 Gs of force, meaning 5 times the normal force of gravity. So a driver's head, which weighs an average of 11 pounds, feels like it weighs 55.
So as you go around the corner, you need to work against the force that is kind of trying to throw your head and neck outwards, and the importance is you need to keep your head in a neutral position, because by moving your head it changes your vision and your line of sight, which changes your racing line.
And that could impact their speed or even cause them to crash.
Resist. Keep fighting. We usually don't isolate the neck that much, even in football. That's because we can usually get the traps and the other neck muscles by doing heavy compound movements like deadlifts, shoulder movements, overhead, any sort of thing like that. When it comes to F1, we're trying to keep their relative body size small so that they can fit in the car and weigh as little as possible, while still giving them the best chance for their body to withstand the G-forces that are common in F1.
For context, I'm struggling to lift 10 pounds here. An F1 driver can do a lot more than that.
On average, these guys can lift about 90 pounds. And these guys are not big guys. They're like 5'7" to maximum 6 foot. If you're bigger than that, you can't fit in the car. They weigh about 170 pounds, but they've got the neck strength of like a rugby prop forward or a lineman in football.
Building the strength to withstand 5 Gs of force is just one part of racing. To survive in the cockpit, drivers need cardiovascular endurance as well.
In general, a driver's training would be made up of 2/3 cardiovascular training and 1/3 strength training, roughly. Despite the fact that you're sat there in a seat, kind of strapped in, your heart rate is elevated for the whole duration of the race, and the race lasts between 90 minutes and 2 hours.
They end up burning about 1,500 calories in a single race. That's roughly the equivalent of what you burn while running a half marathon.
And that comes from a few different areas. It comes from the danger of the sport, that cognitive demand of having to be zoned in and concentrating the whole time, because you're driving super quick and there's 21 other cars on the track and there's a high level of jeopardy. If something goes wrong, you're in trouble.
And while this mental strain builds, their body is also heating up.
Our data indicates that probably the primary stressor placed on drivers is heat. So when drivers race, they wear a fire protective suit, which is great because it protects them in the event of a fire, but it is so insulating that it actually inhibits their ability to cool themselves through the process of evaporation, which means once they're inside a cockpit, which can be anywhere from 100 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, They get very hot.
Drivers are able to withstand these temperatures because of the cardio exercise they do.
When you are in the heat or hot and you're exercising, your heart rate will go up. So it's taking blood from your core that is hot and put it into your extremities like your arms, your skin, to help cool yourself.
One way of measuring cardio fitness is called VO2 max, which refers to the amount of oxygen your body can use during exercise. The higher your VO2 max, the more efficiently your heart, lungs, and muscles work.
So if you have a higher VO2 max, you will also have a higher heat tolerance, so you can cool yourself and you can do the work to drive the car. So that's why most professional race car drivers have a VO2 max somewhere between 60 and 72 milliliters per kilogram per minute, which is very similar to elite level cyclists, runners. It's getting borderline Olympic athlete level, which is very cool.
And then right before a race, F1 drivers practice their reflexes to be able to make those split-second decisions while driving over 160 miles per hour.
Okay, so I'm not going to give you any sort of heads up here.
Oh, so I have to imagine that it's 130 degrees. I've been driving for 2 hours and I have to be able to react this quick.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, great. I didn't crash the car, I think. This video is presented by the Ford Motor Company. Ford has been studying the brutal physics of F1 for decades. From 1967 to 2004, the Ford Cosworth DFV engine won 176 races, and every one of those victories led to insights that were implemented directly into the cars everyday drivers take on the road. After a 22-year break, Ford is back in F1 because they know true capability is proven in the extremes. To build better cars, Ford tests them on the most demanding circuit in the world. Check the link in the description to learn more about Ford's latest lineup of vehicles. Now, Ford didn't have any editorial input on the content of this video, but their support does make videos like this possible. Race day impacts drivers in ways even the best training can't prepare them for.
Normally, they will lose somewhere between 4 and 6 pounds of sweat. In some cases, that's over 2 to 3% of your body mass. The American College of Sports Medicine says if you've lost that much, you're in trouble.
That sounds dangerous. It is. As dehydration builds, cognitive performance can decline.
As you get dehydrated, you're losing electrolytes, you're losing blood volume, and that will reduce blood flow to the brain. As your core temperature heats up, your ability to respond correctly and fastly is compromised. And this is why we say that heat is the greatest threat to drivers.
They're just drained. Get out of the car and you are empty. You've got nothing left to give. The overall exhaustion is something, it's hard to quantify, but you've got to remember they've been driving like 10 or 15 years. They're very well conditioned to the heat. They've been driving in hot countries and hot conditions. Although there have been occasions where they've got out of the car and they've collapsed, we haven't recorded any instances of people passing out behind the wheel and there being a bad crash because of that.
F1 can look effortless. Fast cars, champagne, and races are some of the most glamorous events in the world. But underneath that is a constant fight against physics. Every lap demands strength, endurance, focus, and the ability to do all of that while your body is literally being pulled in multiple directions at once. In a way, an F1 driver's job is keeping the laws of physics from winning.
I think there's a reason why there are only 20 Formula One drivers in the world, because there's probably only that number that can actually do it.
Thanks so much for watching. If you're not already a member, head over to patreon.com/Vox to get access to more stories, stay updated on our work, and help support ambitious reporting. It's so important to support independent journalism. Your membership allows us to make really cool videos, research interesting stories, and also dig into the investigative reporting. And if it doesn't make financial sense for you to support us today, you can still follow us on Patreon for free and stay up to date on all of the great reporting going on at Vox. Thanks.